He built an empire on blood and silence. She rebuilt herself from ashes he left behind. 5 years ago, he walked away without looking back. Tonight, in a room full of power and lies, 3 small faces will shatter everything he thought he owned. This is not a love story. This is a reckoning, and some debts can only be paid in truth. Watch until the end. You won't believe what happens next. The restaurant didn't serve food. It served power. Every table held a transaction. Every whisper carried weight. The kind of place where presidents dined with criminals, and no one asked questions because silence was the most expensive thing on the menu. Jinwoo Park sat at the center table like a king in exile. 29 years old. Heir to the most dangerous Korean crime family in America. A man whose name made politicians sweat and rivals disappear. Across from him, his fiancée smiled. Perfect teeth. Perfect skin. Perfect lie. Yuna was the daughter of another syndicate. Their marriage wasn't love. It was a merger. 2 empires becoming one. Signed in blood before either of them could speak. He didn't love her. He wasn't sure he'd ever loved anyone. Except once. 5 years ago. Before he learned that love was the only weakness his father would never forgive. "You're distracted," Yuna said, her voice smooth as poison. She touched his hand. Her ring caught the light, a diamond the size of a bullet. "I'm fine." "You're never fine. You're just well trained." She wasn't wrong. Jinwoo had been raised in silence and strategy, taught to read danger before it breathed. His father's lessons were simple. Trust no one, love nothing, own everything. He'd followed those rules. Until her. The door opened, and the past walked in. She moved like water through stone, fluid, unstoppable, inevitable. The restaurant seemed to dim and brighten at once. Conversations faltered, heads turned. Not because she demanded attention, because she simply existed in a way that made everything else feel rehearsed. Her name was Amara, and she was everything he'd spent 5 years trying to forget. Tall, dark skin like midnight silk. Natural hair swept up in a way that said she didn't need permission to be stunning. She wore a tailored pantsuit that screamed success without shouting. Confidence radiated from her like heat from a flame. But it wasn't her that stopped his heart. It was them. 3 boys, identical, 5 years old, maybe 6. Walking beside her like small soldiers, matching outfits, serious faces, and eyes. God, those eyes. His eyes. The same dark gold-flecked brown that stared back at him every morning. The same sharp cheekbones. The same stubborn set to their jaws. Jinwoo's world tilted. His hand tightened around his glass. The crystal groaned under the pressure but didn't break. Just like him. Trained never to shatter in public. "Who is that?" Yuna's voice cut through the fog. He couldn't answer. Couldn't breathe. Amara hadn't seen him yet. She was speaking to the maitre d', gesturing toward a private table near the window. The boys stood close to her, protective. One of them tugged her sleeve. She bent down, listening with the kind of patience that made Jinwoo's chest ache. She'd always been like that, present, fully there in every moment. It was what had terrified him most. Because with her, he'd felt human. And human meant weak. "Jinwoo." Yuna's nails dug into his wrist. "I asked you a question." "No one," he said, his voice a graveyard. "Liar." The maitre d' led Amara and the boys toward their table. They would pass within 10 feet of him, close enough to see, close enough to destroy everything. Jinwoo forced himself to look away, to pretend she was a stranger, to let her pass like a ghost he'd never touched. But one of the boys looked up. Their eyes met, and the child froze. There was something in that stare, recognition without understanding, a pull coded into DNA. The boy's small hand reached for his mother's, but his gaze stayed locked on Jinwoo's face. Amara followed her son's stare, and time stopped. Her expression didn't change, didn't crack, but something flickered in her eyes, a shadow of the girl who used to look at him like he was sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Now she looked at him like he was the storm. She bent down, whispered something to the boys. They nodded, obedient. Then she straightened and walked directly toward his table, Every instinct screamed at him to run. But Jinwoo Park didn't run. He was the predator in every room. Except now, he felt like prey. Amara stopped 3 feet away. Close enough to speak. Far enough to escape. "Jinwoo," she said. Her voice was different. Stronger. Edged in steel. "It's been a while." Yuna's head snapped toward him. "You know her?" He didn't answer. Couldn't. Amara's smile was a weapon. "We used to know each other, a lifetime ago." "Funny," Yuna said, venom dripping. "He's never mentioned you." "I'm not surprised. Jinwoo's very good at forgetting inconvenient things." The words landed like bullets. One of the boys called out. "Mom? Mom!" The word detonated in Jinwoo's chest. Amara's eyes never left his. "I should go. My sons are waiting." Sons, plural, 3 of them. His. She turned to leave. And Jinwoo did the one thing he'd sworn never to do again. He reached for her. His hand caught her wrist, gentle, desperate. She looked down at his fingers on her skin, then back at his face. "Don't," he whispered. "Don't what?" Her voice was ice and fire. "Don't walk away? Like you did? Amara, you don't get to say my name anymore." She pulled free, walked back to her table, sat down with her sons, their sons, and opened a menu like she hadn't just burned his entire world to ash. Yuna stood abruptly. "We're leaving." But Jinwoo couldn't move, couldn't look away. One of the boys was staring at him again, small face serious, so much like his own childhood photos it hurt. The child lifted one small hand and waved. Jinwoo's heart shattered in a way no bullet ever could. Amara hadn't planned to bring the boys to this restaurant. She'd planned to keep them far away from anything that smelled like Jinwoo's world. But her associate insisted. Said the deal could only be signed here, in neutral territory, where old money and new power shook hands over aged whiskey and unspoken threats. She should have known. Nothing in Jinwoo's orbit was ever neutral. "Mama, why is that man looking at you?" Kai, her oldest by 4 minutes, sharp as broken glass and twice as protective. "He's no one, baby." He looks sad. River, her middle son, the one who felt everything, who cried at sunsets and hugged strangers. Some people are just like that. He looks like us. Zion, her youngest, the quiet storm, the one who saw everything and said nothing until it mattered. Amara's hand trembled as she poured water into their glasses. "Eat your appetizers." But they weren't wrong. The boys looked exactly like Jinwoo. Same eyes, same bone structure, same presence that made people notice them even when they were trying to disappear. She'd spent 5 years preparing for this moment, rehearsing what she'd say if she ever saw him again, building armor out of success and spite. But seeing him, sitting there with another woman, a ring on her finger, looking like he'd moved on without even a scar, it made Amara want to scream, or burn the building down. Maybe both. Ms. Okafor? Her associate, David Chen, slid into the seat across from her. 50s, sharp suit, sharper mind. He'd helped her build her consulting empire from nothing. "The contract's ready," he said, sliding a folder toward her. "Sign this, and you'll own the 3rd largest logistics network in the Eastern Corridor." Amara picked up her pen. 5 years ago, she was a grad student waiting tables, in love with a man who promised her the world and delivered nothing but abandonment. Now she was a millionaire, self-made, untouchable. She signed her name with the same hand that used to trace Jinwoo's scars in the dark. "Congratulations," David said. "You're a titan now." "I've been a titan," Amara replied. "I just made it legal." Across the room, she felt Jinwoo's stare like a hand around her throat. She refused to look, refused to give him the satisfaction. "Mama," River whispered, "can we get dessert? Anything you want, baby." Because that's what she'd promised herself. Her sons would have everything. Everything Jinwoo's world had tried to steal from them. Jinwoo watched her sign the contract, watched her smile, watched her be everything he'd destroyed. Yuna was gone. Stormed out 10 minutes ago when he refused to leave. His security waited by the door, tense. They could feel the shift in him. The mafia air was unraveling. and that made everyone dangerous. He stood, slowly. Every eye in the restaurant tracked him. He walked toward her table. His men moved to follow. He raised one hand. They stopped. This wasn't about power. This was about penance. Amara saw him coming. Her spine went rigid. But she didn't run. She never had. "We need to talk," Jinwoo said. "No, we don't." "Amara." "Ms. Okafor," she corrected. "You lost the right to my first name when you walked out." The boys stared up at him. 3 pairs of eyes that held his DNA and her fire. "Are you bothering our mom?" Kai asked, 5 years old and already ready to fight. Jinwoo's throat closed. "No," he managed. What was he? A monster? A coward? A father who didn't know he had sons? "You're leaving," Amara finished for him. She stood, gathering her purse. "Boys, we're going. But dessert, we'll get it somewhere better." She moved past him. The boys followed. But Zion paused, looked up at Jinwoo with those impossible eyes. "You made her cry," the boy said quietly. Then he took his mother's hand and walked away. Jinwoo stood in the center of the restaurant, surrounded by power, drowning in silence. And for the first time in his life, he understood what his father meant when he said love was the only thing that could kill a king. Jinwoo sat in his car for 2 hours after the restaurant, engine off, city lights bleeding through the windshield. His driver knew better than to speak. Triplets. 5 years old. His. The math was brutal and perfect. He'd left Amara 6 weeks before she would have known. Walked away because his father demanded it. Because marrying Yuna was the only way to secure the family's future. Because he was a coward who chose power over love. And she'd carried that weight alone. Raised 3 boys. Built an empire. Became everything without him. While he sat in meetings. Signed orders. Played king of a world that suddenly felt hollow. His phone buzzed. "Father." He let it ring. It buzzed again. "What? Where are you?" His father's voice was ice. "Yuna called. Said you embarrassed her. That some woman. Her name is Amara." Silence. Then, "The girl from before." "Yes. I thought we handled that." Handled. Like she was a problem. A contract to be voided. "She has children," Jinwoo said. "So?" "My children." The silence stretched so long Jinwoo thought the line had died. Then his father laughed. It was the cruelest sound Jinwoo had ever heard. "You think that matters?" His father said. "You think some bastards change anything? They're my sons. They're leverage, and if she's smart, she'll use them to bleed you dry. This is why we don't love outside the family, Jinwoo. This is why we choose our blood carefully." "You chose wrong," Jinwoo said. He hung up, turned off his phone, and told his driver to find out everything about Amara Okafor. Amara put the boys to bed in their penthouse apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. 3 bedrooms. A library. A play area that looked like a small kingdom. Everything she'd built. Everything she'd fought for. "Mama?" River's voice was small in the dark. "Yes, baby?" "Is that man our daddy?" Her heart stopped. Kai sat up. "He is. I can feel it." Zion said nothing, but his eyes were open. Amara sat on the edge of Kai's bed, ran her fingers through his hair. "Yes," she said, "because they deserved the truth. He is. Why doesn't he live with us? Because he made a choice a long time ago, and it wasn't us." "Does he know about us?" River asked. "He does now." "Will he come back?" Amara's throat burned. "I don't know. Do you want him to?" Zion's voice cut through the dark. She looked at her youngest son. So quiet. So devastating in his clarity. "What I want doesn't matter," she said. "What matters is you 3. And you're perfect. You're everything. You're mine." "But we're his too," Kai said. "Yes. But he doesn't get to hurt you the way he hurt me. I won't allow it." She kissed each of them. Tucked them in. Whispered promises she intended to keep. Then she went to her own room, locked the door, and finally let herself break. 3 days later, Jinwoo appeared at her office. No appointment, no warning. Just walked past security like he owned the building. Maybe he did. She wouldn't put it past him. Amara's assistant buzzed her. "Miss Okafor, there's a—" "Send him in." Because she'd known he'd come. Men like Jinwoo didn't let go. They circled, they strategized. They turned everything into conquest. The door opened. He looked different. Tired. Like he hadn't slept since the restaurant. "Good. You have 5 minutes," Amara said, not looking up from her laptop. "I didn't know. I don't care." "Amara, Ms. Okafor." He flinched. "I didn't know you were pregnant." Would it have mattered? She finally looked at him. Would you have stayed? His silence was the answer. "That's what I thought," she said. "So let's skip the part where you pretend you're here because you care. Tell me what you really want. To know them." "No. They're my sons. They're my sons. You're just the DNA I didn't plan for. You can't keep them from me. Watch me." She stood, walked around her desk. "You walked away, Jinwoo. You chose your empire. You chose that woman. You chose everything except us. So now I get to choose. And I choose to protect them from you. I won't hurt them. You already did. The moment you walked away from me, you walked away from them. They just didn't exist yet to know it." He stepped closer. "Please." The word broke something in her chest. Jinwoo Park didn't beg. "Why?" she whispered. "Why now? Why do you suddenly care?" "Because I saw them," he said. "And I saw you, and I realized I've been dead for 5 years. Going through motions, building nothing, and they're alive," she finished. "Yeah, that's what happens when you choose love over fear. Let me try." "Try what?" "To be their father." Amara laughed. It tasted like ashes. "You don't get to walk in and play daddy because you feel guilty. Fatherhood isn't a role you audition for. It's a promise you keep every single day, and you already broke yours. Then let me make a new one." She wanted to say no, wanted to slam the door, protect her boys from the man who'd shattered her. But Zion's voice echoed in her mind. You made her cry. Her sons deserved the truth, even if the truth had his eyes. "One dinner," she said, supervised. "You try anything, legal, illegal, emotional, and you never see them again." Jinwoo nodded. "When?" "I'll let you know." He turned to leave, stopped at the door. "I'm sorry," he said, "for all of it." "Sorry doesn't raise children," Amara replied. "Love does. Let's see if you remember how." He left, and Amara sat in her office, staring at the photo on her desk. 3 boys, her whole world, and the ghost of a man who might finally learn what he lost. The restaurant Amara chose was deliberately ordinary. No gilded chandeliers, no politicians in back rooms, no tables where empires were traded like poker chips. Just a family Italian place in Brooklyn where the pasta was homemade and the owner's grandmother yelled at customers she liked. Jinwoo arrived 15 minutes early, wearing jeans. Amara almost didn't recognize him. She'd only ever seen him in tailored suits, armor disguised as fashion. But tonight he looked human, vulnerable, terrified. "You're early," she said, arriving with the boys. "I didn't want to be late." Kai stepped forward, protective. "Are you really our dad?" Jinwoo knelt down, eye level with his son. "Yes." "Why didn't you come before?" The question was a knife. "Because I didn't know you existed," Jinwoo said. "And that's my fault, not your mom's. Mine." River moved closer, studied Jinwoo's face like he was solving a puzzle. "You have sad eyes, like when Zion broke his favorite truck." "I am sad," Jinwoo admitted. "I missed a lot. And I can't get that time back." Zion hadn't spoken, just watched, those gold-flecked eyes seeing everything. Finally, he said, "Do you love our mama?" The restaurant seemed to hold its breath. Jinwoo looked at Amara. She kept her face neutral, but her heart was a war zone. "I did," Jinwoo said carefully. "Very much. I hurt her badly. And I'm trying to figure out how to be better." "That's not an answer," Zion said. "This child was 5 years old and already saw through lies like glass." "You're right," Jinwoo said. Honest answer? I don't know what love means anymore. I thought I did. But I traded it for something else. Something that didn't make me feel alive. What did you trade it for? Kai asked. Power. Was it worth it? Jinwoo's voice cracked. No. Amara's chest tightened. She'd prepared for manipulation, for charm, for the Jinwoo who could sell ice to winter. She hadn't prepared for honesty. Let's eat, she said, breaking the moment. They sat. Ordered. The boys peppered Jinwoo with questions. Do you have a big house? Yes. Do you have a dog? No. Why not? I was never home enough to take care of one. That's sad, River said. Everyone should have a dog. Jinwoo smiled. It looked unpracticed. Like a muscle he'd forgotten how to use. Maybe you're right. Halfway through dinner, Kai asked, Do you have other kids? No, just you three. Do you want us? The question stopped everything. Jinwoo set down his fork. More than anything I've ever wanted in my life. Even more than power? Zion asked. Especially more than power. Words are easy, Zion said. Mama says people show you who they are by what they do, not what they say. Jinwoo looked at Amara. Your mother is a very wise woman. She's the best, River said. She works really hard, and she makes us breakfast even when she's tired, and she knows all our favorite stories. She sounds like a superhero, Jinwoo said softly. She is, all three boys said in unison. Amara's eyes burned. She excused herself to the bathroom, locked herself in a stall, and let herself cry for exactly 90 seconds. Then she fixed her makeup, straightened her spine, walked back out. Jinwoo was helping Zion cut his chicken. River was showing him a drawing. Kai was explaining the rules of soccer with the intensity of a general planning war. They looked like a family. The thought terrified her. After dinner, Jinwoo walked them to Amara's car. The boys were tired, sugar-crashed, leaning against their mother like small anchors. Thank you, Jinwoo said. For tonight. Don't thank me. Thank them. They're the ones who gave you a chance. Can I... He hesitated. Can I see them again? Amara looked at her sons. They were watching, waiting for her answer. What do you think? She asked them. Kai nodded. He's not as scary as I thought. River smiled. He's sad. But maybe we can help. Zion was quiet. Then, one more dinner. Then we decide. Jinwoo knelt again. That's fair. Zion studied him. If you hurt our mama again, we'll never forgive you. I won't. Promise? Jinwoo extended his pinky. Zion locked his smaller finger around it. Promise, Jinwoo said. They drove away. Jinwoo stood in the parking lot watching the taillights disappear. His phone rang. Yuna. He declined. It rang again. His father. He declined. Then a text from an unknown number. We need to talk about your new situation. There are people who would pay well for information about your sons. Thought you should know. M. Jinwoo's blood turned to ice. His world had just found out about his children. And in his world, children were leverage, which meant his sons had just become targets. Amara knew something was wrong the moment she saw the car. Black SUV, tinted windows, parked across from her building. She'd grown up around enough danger to recognize surveillance. She got the boys inside, triple-locked the door, then called her head of security. There's a vehicle outside my building. Black SUV. License plate Echo 72 Lima Golf Mike. I need it identified. Now. On it, Ms. Okafor. 10 minutes later, her phone rang. It's registered to a shell company, but the shell traces back to Park Industries. Her heart stopped. Jinwoo's family. Looks like it. She hung up, stared out the window. The SUV was still there, watching. Her phone buzzed. Jinwoo. Don't panic. The security outside your building is mine. There's been a threat. I'm handling it. Please, trust me. Trust. The word was a joke, but her sons were inside, safe, because of guards he'd sent. She called him. He answered on the first ring. Explain. Now. Someone sent me a message about the boys, a threat disguised as information. Who? I don't know yet, but in my world, family secrets are currency, and our sons. Don't call them our sons like you've been here. Amara. Ms. Okafor. He sighed. Fine, Ms. Okafor. Your sons are now connected to me, which makes them connected to everything I'm connected to. And some of those connections are dangerous. Then disconnect them. It doesn't work like that. Make it work. I'm trying. But until I find out who sent that message, they need protection. I can protect my own children. Can you stop a professional hit team? Can you identify undercover operatives? Can you track digital threats across 6 countries? Silence. I didn't think so. Jinwoo said gentler. Let me do this. Let me keep them safe. It's the least I can do. Amara wanted to scream. To throw the phone. To somehow go back in time and never walk into that restaurant. But her boys were sleeping in the next room. And they needed to wake up tomorrow. Fine, she said. But your people stay outside. They don't come in. They don't interact with my sons. They're ghosts. Agreed. And Jinwoo? Yes. If any harm comes to them because of you, there is no place on this earth you'll be safe from me. She hung up. Looked in on her boys. They were tangled together in Kai's bed, the way they always ended up. A 3-headed creature of innocence and love. She'd burn the world down for them, even if the world included their father. Jinwoo sat in his office at 3 a.m, surrounded by screens, financial records, communication logs, security footage. He'd been hunting for 6 hours. The message had come from a burner phone, routed through 12 countries. Professional, expensive, someone with resources, someone who knew how to stay hidden. His door opened. No knock. Only one person had that privilege. You look like hell, his sister said. Minji Park, 2 years younger, smarter than anyone gave her credit for, the only person in the family Jinwoo actually trusted. I feel worse, he said. She sat across from him, kicked her feet up on his desk. So, triplets. That's fun. How did you... Please. Father's been screaming about it for 3 days. The whole organization knows. Jinwoo's jaw clenched. He had no right. He's father. He thinks he has every right. She paused. Are you okay? No. Good. Means you're human. She leaned forward. I did some digging. The threat didn't come from outside. What? It came from inside. Someone in our organization. Someone who wants to use your kids as leverage. Who? Still working on that. But Jinwoo? This is bigger than you think. Someone's making a move, and your sons are just the opening play. He stood, paced. They're 5 years old. They're also heirs to the Park Empire. Whether you claim them or not, blood is blood, and blood means power. I won't let anyone hurt them. Then you better figure out who sent that message, because next time, it won't be a warning. Minji left. Jinwoo pulled up a photo on his phone. From dinner. River had asked the waitress to take it. 4 faces. 3 small. 1 broken. They looked happy. He'd give anything to keep them that way. The next morning, Amara got a delivery. 3 boxes. Identical. No return address. She opened them carefully, checked for threats. Inside each box, a custom-made watch. Child-sized, with GPS tracking, panic buttons, and a note. So I always know they're safe. J. Kai loved his immediately. River thought it was magic. Zion put his on but said nothing. Who sent these? Kai asked. Amara hesitated. Your father. Cool, Kai said. River hugged his wrist. It's like he's holding our hand even when he's not here. Zion met his mother's eyes. He's scared. Yes, Amara admitted. He is. Good, Zion said. Means he cares. That afternoon, Jinwoo texted. Dinner tomorrow? Same place? She should have said no. Should have built distance, protected her heart. But her boys were already asking when they'd see him again. 6 p.m. Don't be late. He sent back a single word. Never. Amara sat on her couch, stared at her phone, and wondered if she was making the biggest mistake of her life, or finally letting him make the biggest repair. The second dinner was different. Jinwoo arrived 30 minutes early this time. Not because he was eager, though he was, but because he'd spent the entire day preparing. He brought gifts. Not expensive ones designed to buy affection. Thoughtful ones. Researched ones. For Kai, a soccer ball signed by his favorite player, along with a coaching guide because his assistant mentioned the boy wanted to learn technique. For River, a professional art supply set with brushes made from sable hair and watercolors that cost more than most people's monthly rent, because the boy deserved tools that matched his talent. For Zion, a first edition copy of The Little Prince in English and French, with illustrated constellations in the margins, because the boy read at a level 3 years above his age and loved stars. Amara noticed immediately. "How did you know?" she asked quietly, while the boys explored their gifts with wide eyes. "I asked," Jinwoo said simply. "Asked who?" "Your assistant, your neighbors, the teacher at their school." Amara's spine stiffened. "You investigated us?" "I learned about them. There's a difference." He met her gaze. "I have 5 years to make up for. I'm not wasting time guessing." She wanted to be angry. Wanted to accuse him of overstepping. But Kai was already asking him about soccer strategies. River was showing him a drawing he'd made that morning, and Zion was carefully turning the pages of his book like it was made of glass and wishes. "Thank you," she said finally. "For what?" "For trying." Jinwoo's expression softened. "I'm going to do more than try." Dinner was easier this time. The boys were comfortable. Jinwoo was less terrified, more present. He told them stories about his grandmother, the one person in his family who'd shown him what unconditional love looked like. "She used to sneak me hot talk," he said. "These sweet Korean pancakes filled with brown sugar and cinnamon. My father said they'd make me soft, but she'd make them anyway and we'd eat them in secret." "I want to try that," River said. "I'll make them for you sometime." "You cook?" Kai sounded skeptical. "I used to, before I forgot how to do things that weren't about business." "That's sad," River said, with the brutal honesty of a 5-year-old. "It is," Jinwoo agreed. Amara watched him across the table, watched him be gentle with her sons, watched him smile in ways she'd forgotten he could. It was dangerous, this softening in her chest, this whisper that maybe, possibly, he could be different. But then Zion asked the question that changed everything. "What do you do for work?" The table went quiet. Jinwoo glanced at Amara. She raised an eyebrow. "Your move. Your truth." "I run a family business," he said carefully. "What kind of business?" Zion pressed. "Complicated." That's not an answer. This child was relentless. 5 years old and already able to smell evasion like blood in water. "You're right," Jinwoo admitted. "I manage investments, real estate, security companies, import and export operations." "Are you rich?" River asked, because children have no filter. "Yes." "Richer than Mama?" Jinwoo's smile was genuine. "Your Mama is richer in the ways that matter." Kai frowned, not understanding. "What does that mean?" "It means she has you 3. And that's worth more than anything I own." He paused. "Your mother built an empire from nothing, while carrying you, while the world told her she couldn't. She's the strongest person I've ever known." Amara's throat tightened. She wasn't prepared for honesty. The boys seemed satisfied with the answer. But Zion continued to watch Jinwoo with those unsettling, all-seeing eyes. After dinner, while Kai and River used the bathroom, Zion lingered at the table. He waited until Amara was distracted, speaking with the waiter. Then he moved closer to Jinwoo. "You're lying," he said quietly. Jinwoo went very still. "About what?" "Your job. It's not just business." "What makes you say that?" "The men outside. The way people look at you when they think you're not watching. The way you check exits. The way your hand moves toward your jacket sometimes, like you're reaching for something." Zion's voice was matter-of-fact, clinical. "Mama does the same thing. When she's scared but pretending she's not." Jinwoo felt ice slide down his spine. This child was 5 years old and reading body language like a trained operative. He knelt down, bringing himself to Zion's eye level. "You're very observant," he said. "I know. Mama says I notice too much, that I should just be a kid." Zion tilted his head. "Are you bad?" The question hit like a bullet to the chest. Jinwoo could lie. Should lie. Protect this child from the truth. But those eyes wouldn't let him. Sometimes, he said, because dishonesty felt impossible in the face of that stare. I've done bad things. To protect my family. To survive. To build power. Will you do bad things to us? Never. What about to Mama? I already did. The worst thing I've ever done was walk away from her. Will you do it again? No. Promise? I promise. Zion studied him for a long moment. Then he did something unexpected. He reached out and touched Jinwoo's hand. Okay, he said softly. But if you break it, I'll know. And I'll make sure Kai and River know too. And we won't forgive you. Jinwoo's chest constricted. That's fair. Good. Zion pulled his hand back. Also, the men outside. They're making Mama nervous. She checks the windows every night. I'll have them be more discreet. Better if they weren't there at all. I can't do that yet. Why? Because someone threatened you. And until I find out who, I need to make sure you're safe. Zion's expression didn't change. Someone wants to hurt us? Someone wants to use you, to hurt me. That's stupid. We just met you. In my world, blood is everything. And you're my blood. Then your world is stupid too. Jinwoo almost smiled. You're not wrong. Kai and River returned then, and the moment broke. But Jinwoo felt it, the weight of Zion's assessment. The child had measured him and found him wanting but redeemable. It was more than he deserved. They were walking to the car when it happened. The street was quiet. Too quiet. Jinwoo's instincts, honed by 29 years of surviving in a world where hesitation meant death, started screaming. He scanned the area, noted the black sedan parked across the street with its engine running. The way the driver's posture was too alert. The slight tint difference in the windows that suggested bulletproofing. Amara, he said quietly. Take the boys. Get behind that car. Now. She heard the tone. Didn't question. Grabbed Kai and River's hands. Come on, babies, quickly. But Mama, now. They moved. Jinwoo positioned himself between them and the sedan. His hand moved to the concealed weapon at the small of his back. The sedan's rear window rolled down, and Yuna's face appeared. Beautiful, cold, lethal. So these are the bastards, she said, her voice carrying across the street. Amara stood up from behind the car, fury incarnate. Drive away, now. Or what? Yuna's smile was poison. You'll glare at me in your designer shoes? Please. I was negotiating with warlords while you were still in grad school. Neither of you know me, Amara said, her voice dropping to something dangerous. But you're about to find out. Jinwoo stepped between them. Yuna, leave. You humiliated me. Her composure cracked. Broke our engagement in front of the entire organization. For what? This woman and her... Finish that sentence, Jinwoo said, his voice like a graveyard. And you'll regret it. Yuna's eyes narrowed. Your father won't protect you forever. And when he stops, you'll remember why you needed me. Why you needed our families united. I never needed you. It was an arrangement, a business deal, and it's over. Nothing is over until I say it is. She leaned forward. Those children make you vulnerable. That woman makes you weak. And weakness in our world, it gets people killed. She rolled up the window. The sedan drove away. Silence. Then Kai's small voice. Who was that? Jinwoo turned, saw his sons' faces. Frightened, confused. No one important, he said. But Zion, always Zion, said, She's dangerous. Yes, Jinwoo admitted. She is. Amara was shaking, not from fear, from rage so pure it was practically visible. Take the boys to the car, Jinwoo said quietly. I'm not... Please. I need to make a call, and you don't want them to hear it. She saw something in his face, something that made her listen. She got the boys in the car, locked the doors, turned on music to distract them. Jinwoo pulled out his phone, dialed. Spoke in Korean. Fast, clipped, furious. I don't care what it costs. I want surveillance on her. Every move, every call, every person she meets. And if she comes within 100 yards of Amara or my sons again, you have authorization to intervene. Yes, I mean it. I don't care if her father complains. This is non-negotiable. Do it. He hung up, made another call. Minji, I need you to dig into Yuna's recent activities, specifically anyone she's been meeting with outside normal channels, because she just threatened my family. No, not implied, directly threatened. I know. That's why I'm worried. When he returned to the car, Amara was standing outside, arms crossed. What did you do? She asked. Made sure she never comes near you again. How? You don't want to know. Jinwoo, I mean it, Amara. Some things you're better off not knowing. She searched his face, saw the man he'd become, the darkness he carried like a second skin. This is your world, she said. This is what you chose over us. Yes. And now it's coming for our sons. His jaw tightened. Not if I stop it first. You can't stop an entire empire. Watch me. He moved toward his own vehicle, but Amara caught his arm. If you're going to be in their lives, she said, her voice shaking, I need to know you'll keep them safe, not just from others, but from you, from this world you inhabit. I will. How can I trust that? Jinwoo looked at her. Really looked. Like he was memorizing every detail. The way her jaw set when she was scared. The way her eyes held fire even when her hands trembled. Because 5 years ago, I walked away from the only thing that made me feel human, he said quietly. I chose power over love, empire over truth, and every day since has been empty. I won't make that mistake twice. Pretty words. Then let me prove it with actions. He got in his car, drove away. Amara stood in the parking lot, watching his taillights disappear. The boys were quiet in the back of her vehicle when she got in. Mama? River's small voice broke the silence. Yes, baby. Is our daddy a superhero or a villain? Amara's heart shattered and reformed in the same moment. She looked at her sons in the rearview mirror. 3 pairs of eyes, his eyes, watching her. I don't know yet, she admitted, but we're going to find out together. That night, Jinwoo walked into his father's office without knocking. The old man was drinking, scotch, single malt. Older than Jinwoo, probably older than the building. You look like you have something to say, his father observed, not looking up from the documents on his desk. I'm claiming them, officially. My sons, my heirs. The glass paused halfway to his father's mouth. Slowly, he set it down. You're choosing 3 bastards over the entire organization? I'm choosing family. Real family. Not this empire built on fear and blood money. His father stood, walked to the window overlooking the city. Lights stretched to the horizon. Millions of lives, thousands under their control. That empire gave you everything, he said, and cost me more. Sentiment, weakness, love, strength. His father turned. You'd split the family over this? Start a war? If necessary. Half will follow you. Half will follow me. Blood will spill. Our enemies will see the division and strike. Jinwoo's voice was quiet. Final. Then let it spill. Let them strike. I'd burn the whole world down for them. His father stared. Then, unexpectedly, he smiled. It was a terrible expression. Pride mixed with something darker. Finally, the old man said. You've become interesting. All these years I thought you were just a good soldier, obedient, controlled. He picked up his glass again. But this is what a true park looks like. Willing to destroy everything for what matters. They matter. I believe you. His father raised his glass. To war then. May the best park win. Jinwoo didn't drink, didn't return the toast. He walked out, knowing he'd just set something in motion that would change everything. Knowing his sons were now in more danger than ever. Knowing the woman he'd abandoned was the only one who could help him protect them. Outside Amara's building, in a black SUV parked 2 blocks away, a different threat was watching. Not Jinwoo's people, not his father's organization, someone else entirely. Someone who'd been waiting for exactly this moment. The watcher raised a phone. The heirs have been confirmed, a male voice reported. 3 boys, ages 5, identical. Mother is Amara Okafor, self-made millionaire, no criminal connections. Father is Jinwoo Park, heir apparent to the Park crime family. Perfect. The voice on the other end was distorted, mechanically altered. Phase 2 begins tomorrow. What are the orders? Take the woman first. Make it look random. Street crime. Wrong place, wrong time. The father will come running. And when he does, when he's desperate and vulnerable, we'll have everything we need to destroy the Park Empire from the inside. And the children? Collateral. They're worth more alive than dead. For now. The line went dead. The watcher settled in for a long night of surveillance, making notes, recording patterns, learning when Amara was most vulnerable. In her apartment, unaware of the eyes watching, Amara tucked her sons into bed. They insisted on sleeping together tonight, unsettled by the encounter with Yuna. She didn't fight it. Kai was already asleep, one arm thrown over River. River was fighting it, his eyes heavy. Zion was reading his new book by nightlight. "Mama?" Zion said softly. "Yes, baby? Are we in danger?" She could lie, should lie, but Zion would know. "Maybe," she admitted, "but I'll keep you safe." "What about him, our dad?" "What about him? Will he help? Or is he the danger?" Amara sat on the edge of the bed, ran her fingers through Zion's hair. "I think," she said carefully, "he wants to help. I think he means it when he says he'll protect you. But his world is complicated, and sometimes people get hurt even when others are trying to help. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now." Zion thought about this. Then, "Do you still love him?" The question cut deeper than any knife. "I don't know," Amara whispered. "Part of me does. Part of me hates him. Part of me wants to give him another chance. Part of me wants to run far away and never let him near us again." That sounds exhausting. Despite everything, Amara smiled. "It is. Mama? Yes? Whatever you decide will be okay. We have each other." She kissed his forehead. "Yes, we do." She waited until all three were sleeping. Then she went to her window, looked out at the city, saw the SUV 2 blocks away. She'd noticed it 3 days ago. Knew it wasn't Jinwoo's people. His vehicles were newer, different models. This was someone else. She pulled out her phone, called her head of security. "I need a full threat assessment. There's a vehicle that's been outside my building for 72 hours. Black SUV. I'm sending you the license plate. I need to know who owns it, who's inside it, and what they want." "On it, Ms. Okafor. Should I inform Mr. Park's security team?" Amara hesitated. Then, "Not yet. I want to know what we're dealing with first." She hung up, made another call. This one to a number she'd hoped never to use again. A number given to her by a client 3 years ago. A client who'd said, "If you're ever in real danger, call this. They're the best." The phone rang once. "State your situation," a female voice answered. "I'm being watched. Unknown surveillance outside my residence for 3 days. I have 3 children, ages 5. Their father is connected to organized crime. I need extraction options and security consultation. Name? Amara Okafor. Hold. Silence. Then, we know who you are. And we know who the father is. This will be expensive. I don't care what it costs. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., the coffee shop on 5th and Broadway. Come alone. We'll make contact." The line went dead. Amara looked at her sons, sleeping peacefully, unaware of the storm gathering around them. She'd built an empire to give them everything. Now she'd burn one down to keep them safe. Midnight. Jinwoo sat in his penthouse, every light off, watching the city. His phone buzzed. Min-ji. "You need to see this," his sister said. "What?" "Yuna's been meeting with someone outside our organization, outside all organizations." "Who?" "I don't know yet, but they're professional. Encrypted communications, shell companies, ghost accounts. Whoever they are, they're serious players." "Are they coming after me?" "I don't think they're coming after you." Minji's voice was grim. "I think they're coming after your family, all of it, using you as the entry point." Jinwoo's blood ran cold. "Send me everything you have." "Already done." He opened his laptop. Files appeared, surveillance photos, financial transactions, communication logs. all pointing to something bigger than a family squabble. Someone was orchestrating this, using his son's existence as the trigger. His phone rang again. Different number. Unknown. He answered. "Mr. Park," a distorted voice said. "We have a mutual interest." "Who is this?" "Someone who knows your secret is out. Someone who knows your children are vulnerable. Someone who can help. For a price. I don't negotiate with... Tomorrow, noon, the old warehouse district, Pier 17. Come alone, or watch your family burn." The line went dead. Jinwoo stared at his phone. Trap. Obviously a trap, but he'd walk into it anyway, because they'd threatened his family, and he'd meant what he said. He'd burn the world down for them. Sunday morning, 6 a.m. Amara woke to her phone buzzing. Her head of security. "Ms. Okafor, the vehicle outside your building. It's gone." "What?" "Disappeared sometime between 4 and 5 a.m. No trace." Her stomach dropped. "That's worse." "I know. I've increased building security. But ma'am, whatever this is, it's professional. Military-grade surveillance equipment. The kind governments use. Find them. Working on it." She hung up, looked at her sons, still sleeping, still innocent, still hers. For now. Noon. Jinwoo stood at Pier 17. Alone, armed, waiting. A figure emerged from the shadows. Male, 6 feet, expensive suit, face hidden behind a mask. "Mr. Park, thank you for coming." "Who are you?" "Someone who's been watching your family for a very long time. Someone who sees an opportunity." "To do what?" "To end the Park Empire. To tear it down from the inside." "And your bastard sons? They're the perfect tool." Jinwoo's hand moved toward his weapon. The figure laughed. "Please, you shoot me, and 20 operatives converge on Amara Okafor's building. Your sons die screaming." Jinwoo froze. "Good. You're learning." The figure stepped closer. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to do exactly what I say, when I say it. And in exchange, your children live. What do you want? Access to your family's network, their accounts, their operations, everything. Never. Then your sons die. Then Amara dies. Then you live with it." Jinwoo's world narrowed to a single point, a choice, empire or family, power or love. The same choice he'd failed 5 years ago. "I need time," he said. "You have 48 hours. Then we take what we want." Starting with the woman. The figure disappeared into the shadows. Jinwoo stood alone on the pier, and for the first time in his life, he understood what it meant to be truly powerless. To be continued in episode 2. Next time, the trap closes. Amara is taken. Jinwoo must choose between his empire and his family, and 3 5-year-old boys will learn that sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who claim to protect you. The heirs he never knew. Episode 2 coming soon.